Today we're going to be comparing the S10e versus the iPhone 8, two older flagships that have aged really well that you can actually find for around the $200 and now below price point. Those links will be down below here. And let's go ahead and get started here with the build quality. And iPhone 8 is a glass and metal phone, and so is the S10e. It also glass and metal. You have an IP68 rating on the S10e, IP67 on the iPhone. And body-wise and design-wise, let's see here. They're both about the same thickness. And S10e is slightly taller, so the iPhone 8 is technically a little bit more compact. You do have your power button on the S10e here. We also have down below a headphone jack, which the iPhone does not have. Stereo speakers on the S10e, USB Type-C, volume rockers, Bixby button, iPhone, power button, volume rockers, mute vibration switch on here as well, charging port, and then stereo speakers on the iPhone, and then it uses the Touch ID up front, as you can see here, which we'll talk about a little bit more. Alright, so let's talk about the displays. On the S10e, you have a dynamic AMOLED display. It's HDR10 Plus at 5.8 inches, 1080p, 438 for the PPI. The iPhone is a Retina IPS display, 4.7 inches, 720p plus, 326 for the PPI. So overall, you do have a much better display on the S10e. You have way slimmer bezels. The iPhone has just big chunky bezels, and you also have a punch hole on the S10e, so it gives it that more immersive experience. Now with the iPhone 8 is that you do have a smaller display. So if you're somebody who wants a compact phone, this is way easier for somebody with smaller hands to be able to reach this phone without sort of like shimmying it and doing all of that. So that is one thing I love about the display size on the iPhone 8 here. But as far as everything else, the S10e has a better resolution. It overall has better colors. It's brighter as well. Overall, just a better panel. So definitely, I would give it to the S10e here as far as the display experience. It's just overall better. On the iPhone, you do have iOS 14 on here with the Apple A11 chip. You also have 2 gigs of RAM on here, and you will also have no SD card support, 64 gigs of internal storage, and 2 gigs of RAM. On the S10e, you do have Android 11 on here. You do have SD card support, 128 gigs of internal storage, and 6 gigs of RAM on here as well. So let's get into a little speed test here, see how well the iPhone keeps up here, and we'll go ahead and do Instagram. S10e there. Oh, it looks like the iPhone actually got that up. It looked like the S10e got in there. That was a tie. S10e slightly got it there. S10e again. But the iPhone is keeping up really well. Looks like we had a pop-up on here. Let's try something else. Let's try your phone. I think the iPhone might have got it there. Let's go ahead and try Temple Run. Yeah, so this is neck and neck, but it looks like the S10e is slightly faster than the iPhone 8, which is pretty impressive because the S10e came out in 2019. The iPhone 8 came out in 2017, I believe. So that is impressive for the iPhone. Let's check out our PUBG graphics. Looks like the S10e again is going to get you into games slightly faster. I actually think that was a pretty decent amount of time, guys, too. That was a pretty good amount of time. The S10e beat the iPhone there. So I want to show you guys just what graphic settings you're going to be working with. So on the if I can get out of this, on the S10e, you can see extreme, extreme, extreme. We also have that option to download Ultra HD. On the iPhone 8, let's see what we're working with here. Extreme, Ultra, Ultra, no Ultra HD. So you do have a better and smoother gaming experience on the S10e. So keep that in mind too. Both of these phones are great gaming devices as well, but obviously you're gonna have more power, better FPS on the S10e here. Let's talk about the additional features. So with the iPhone here, I think the standout feature with this phone is that you get the latest version of iOS. This phone probably has 1 or 2, not 3 more software updates because it's powerful enough to run iOS 15 and 16, I believe. So I think this phone is still going to get updates. That's one of the benefits with the iPhone. Another benefit is FaceTime. It's an awesome application. iMessage and stuff like that is an awesome application to have on here. You also have your Touch ID, which works really well. Unfortunately, you only get Touch ID. You do not get any type of face unlock on here. So that kind of sucks, but you do have that. And on the S10e, we can actually get quite a bit of stuff on here. So we have our physical fingerprint scanner and our power button. We also have the option to do face unlock. But once we get actually into the software here, we do have our wireless power sharing mode on here. So I can actually charge up like the iPhone, as you can see. I can actually charge up the iPhone with my S10e. So that's pretty cool. I can just charge up anything I want, really. Also, we do have our Samsung desktop support on here. Secure folders is on here. Dolby Atmos is on here as well. And like I said, the Samsung desktop support is a big W for the S10e. You also have NFC on both of these phones as well with Apple Pay and then your Google NFC stuff. Both of these phones have stereo speakers. Let's go ahead and check that out. Max volume, see which one is louder. So you can hear the clear difference, especially with Dolby Atmos on the S10e. It's like 2 times louder, way more bass, way just a fuller sound to it. Obviously a clear winner for the S10e. It's not to knock the iPhone 8 speakers. I think any phone with stereo speakers is just great because, it's easy to cover up the bottom speaker. But obviously, S10e definitely takes it there. Now, I do want to talk about the cameras on here as well. So, on the S10e, you do have a dual camera setup, a 12 megapixel standard and a 16 megapixel ultra wide. You also have 4K video, and you also have a 10 megapixel selfie cam that shoots in 4K. Overall, as far as cameras, I'm definitely gonna go with the S10e. It just takes overall better shots. In addition to just taking better shots, you also have an ultra wide, which the iPhone lacks. It just has a single lens. And overall, you can see from the photos, good color, a good dynamic range. You also get really, a really nice ultra wide on here. It also retains a pretty good detail, good color. The selfie cam is pretty good. You get 4K video. So overall, it's really solid. The iPhone is still has a pretty good camera. It's a 12 megapixel standard. It shoots in 4K, 2430 or 60 FPS, which is cool. You also have a 7 megapixel selfie, and that is 1080p. And overall, it's fine for FaceTime. It's fine for taking stills. Like I said, it's still a decent camera. I think it's still very competitive with cameras, even at the $200 price point. So as you can see from the shots here, you can still get a very good photo if you're in good lighting and stuff like that. Like I said, the only downside is that there's just no additional camera. That's where this phone sort of shows its age. But as far as video, I do think video on this iPhone 8 is actually better than the S10e. I think it's smoother, it looks smoother. Overall, just like the video on here, so it's really, really good for that as well. So yeah, overall, it's still a very good camera. Alright, so battery life. So your battery life situation on the iPhone, you have a 1,821 milliamp battery, 15-watt charging, wireless charging. If you have good battery health, you get 4 hours of screen on time, which is really, it's not that impressive, but it is, it's 4 hours. On the S10e, you do get a 3,100 milliamp battery, so a much bigger battery. We're really not even that big, but it's bigger than your iPhones. 15-watt charging with wireless charging and reverse wireless charging. And the S10e will get you better battery life than the iPhone 8. About maybe an hour or 2 hours more, depending on how hard you use your device, whether you're a gamer or whether you're using like powerful applications. But overall, generally, the S10e is going to last longer than the iPhone 8. So that is pretty much it. What do you guys think? Which phone are you guys going with? Be sure to let me know. I'll catch you guys in the next one.